This one's gonna be on i3 Tiling Windows Manager. I finally found the time to use it, and there's a lot of people asking me to do this for a long time, and I have been using it full time for I think like 2 months now, so I'm pretty confident in now. So let's do this here. If you don't know what Tiling Windows Manager is, it's basically when you open an application, it will actually use up all the space. Okay, so there's no like, oh, there's a space in between this or that program. There's none of that shit. Okay, so right now we have one program, and I'll open it, in maximize here. Now if you have another one, let's say I open my calendar program, you'll see I'll just tile it next to each other, taking 50% of the space. If I want to open, like say, another program, and let's say I want to tile it horizontally under this calendar program, I can do like generic here, and you see that it'll tile it there, right? So when using Tiling Windows Manager, there is no minimizing, there's no maximizing buttons or anything like that. It will just do that automatically for you, and that's pretty much it, right? So that's Tiling Windows Manager. It just automatically does it for you. Now, even though it says Tiling Windows Manager, you can still make some windows floating windows, which what people are used to. Because in some occasions, you still want to have floating windows, maybe for certain applications that you use. And to do that, you can actually just pop this one out, and there you go. You have your floating windows again, and you can use your mouse to drag this sucker around if you wanted to. But again, there's no minimizing, there's no maximizing any of that crap, right? And after you're done with it, you can always either close it or make it back to tiling. And there you go. That's how you would use it for the most part. So that's the general idea of a Tiling Windows Manager. And this one I think is called Dynamic Tiling Windows Manager, so it does it automatically for you. So with that being said, let's do some of the configurations so you can figure out some more of the hotkeys that you can do in here. And to do that, let's open up our editor here. So the default places where they keep this configuration is in your home folder, .i3, and then your configuration files here. So you can open it with gedit or whatever it is you're using, but I'm using Vim here. And the first thing when you first set this up, they'll ask you which hotkey you want to use. And really the only two hotkeys that they have available for you is your super key or your alt key, right? So your super key is actually mod 4, and mod 1 here is your alt key. I'll post this one up in my GitHub so you can actually follow along this video too. But I like to use the super key, aka your Windows key, and you set the mod variable here to mod 4, and this one will tell all the other programs that mod is now set to super key. So that's pretty much it for that. So this one is to kill window, really easy. By default, the default one here is mod shift and Q. I like to use mod C, makes more sense to me. So if I want to kill this program, let's say it's freezing or I just want to quit out of it, I can use mod C and it'll close it. Right, I really like that one. It's really quick. This other one here, I really like this one too. This is a package, I believe, made by them, or maybe it's a script or something like that. But what they have here in i3 is that they call this one i3 dmenu desktop. And if you ever used dmenu in the past, it's really stupid because they list all the programs in there, which makes no fucking sense because you can't really launch command line applications in there without a terminal. Otherwise it will just launch in the background or just disappear as soon as it's done. So what this one does is that it will just look at the GUI programs only. And the way that they figure that out is just using the desktop files. Whenever you install any GUIs, they have a desktop files on your Linux system. And that makes a lot of sense, okay? So I recommend you use this if you're going to use dmenu. And it will just only show you the GUI programs when you use it. So dmenu, if you don't know, is just my launcher application here up top here, right? So if I type in generic, then it will know that it's just only GUI programs that's listed. So that's it for that. And let's go down here. Now by default on I think like any tiling windows manager, is that when you move your mouse, you know, whenever it rolls over a window, that's gonna be your focus windows. That's why you see the blue shit on top of you know, the title here, right? So you can see that this one's focus, and that's what they do by default. Now, if you want to do that with the hotkeys, they do have hotkeys for that, so that's what they have in here. Now, it's really stupid, in my opinion, their hotkeys that they have by default, is that they use J, K, L, and semicolon. So basically, they just shift one to the right. Instead of using real Vim hotkeys, they chose to do that, which is really stupid in my opinion. So I personally changed it back to what it should be in the first place, which is H, J, K, and L. So that's how you would shift the focus here. So if I do mod H, J, K, or L, mod H, see I can move around just using this. And the other one down here, what is it? This is an alternative way you can use it with mod and arrow keys. If you know, some people are not used to Vim hotkeys, you can use your arrow keys. So it's the same thing, right? And down here, it's pretty much the same thing, but this one is to move the window, right? Move the window. And again, they use J, K, L, and semicolon, which you should change to H, J, K, and L. So for example, if I do that here, which is called super key, alt, and H. Or otherwise, if you want to use the default, is you know, their mod key, shift, and J here. And to do that, you see that I can move the windows like this, top, bottom, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. All right. So that's for moving windows and shifting the focus. Now the reason why they wanted to use the H for it is that they want to have the H split horizontally. But even that is not correct because it's in reverse order, right? So this is their default here, which is what is that? Their, I think, mod H to split horizontally, but it doesn't actually split horizontally because the H actually splits vertically, right? And the V actually splits horizontally. I mean, these are not the first person to do this. I mean, TMux, if you use TMux, they have it backwards too. These motherfuckers have it backwards too. So I don't know what the deal is. I hope they're not stupid. They don't know what the difference between you know, vertical and horizontal is. But there's no explanation why they did that, and it always confused the shit out of me. So what I recommend is reverse it back the way it was, and it will make sense in your fucking head and not their head. So that's it for that. But yeah, so V is actually horizontal and H is actually vertical. And don't use the mod H that they have. Use like mod B or whatever keys you want. I use mod B because it's next to V, so I know that V is vertical split, and you know the one next to it is B, so that'd be, you know, horizontal split here. All right. So that's it for that. And the way that that works is that let's say right now this one is what is that, vertical split. So if I open another one, let's say Thunar here. Oops, let's do the here. Let's do that again over here though. Fuck. So if I open another one, let's say Thunar, you see that it will split it vertically here, right? If I want to close this one off and I hit what is that, mod B here for horizontal, right? So I hit mod B first, and then I open another file manager. You see that will split it horizontally at the bottom here, as opposed to what we did before, which is vertical. So I do vertical here, you see. So that's how you do it. You have to hit the hotkey first and then open the program. So if I hit mod B here for horizontal, you can see that it will just split it half there. So that's how you do horizontal split or vertical split. It's up to you. And this one is for full screen. It's kind of like if you use TMux, it's maximizing your pane. So let's say if I want this one, it's kind of too small or something, I can do mod and F and it'll go full screen, right? I can go down here, full screen. So pretty simple. Just move your mouse over it or use your hotkeys to focus it, and then you can do that, and it'll give you full screen. Pretty simple. This one is called container layouts, and they have what is that, 3 different ones here. So they got stacking, tabbed it, and basically splits that you can do that we're doing right now. And basically what that is let's say this one we want it to stack, right? Stack here. So it's just mod and S, and basically when you have stacking is one on top of the other. So this one is the calendar, and this one is what is that, the spreadsheet program numeric. So there's a stack on top of each other. Now if you want to go to tabbing, it's kind of like your browser. So if you do what is that, Windows here, and you see now you have a tab here and a tab here. So that's how you do that. And let's undo that part here. Now as far as the splits here, you can actually toggle it. Right now it's on top of each other here. So if I hit mod and E, you can see that it will just toggle between them, right? So that's how you do the toggle splits there. And the floating one I talked about earlier, where you want to pop it out and just use it like you normally had it on all the other traditional floating Windows Manager. So you can do that too if you want. So that's it for that. And workspaces, like I said, you're gonna probably use more workspaces because there's like no minimize, so you want to use different workspaces if you have applications open, right? And you can see that right now they have what is that, 1 through 10. So all your numbers on your keyboard all the way up to 9, and 0 stands for 10. So when you hit 0 on your keys, it'll be 10. Okay, so 1 and all the way to 0 here. You can give it a name too if you want. Like by default they give you no names, like 1, 2, 3. But if you add some extra stuff next to it, that will be your name. So right now you see at the bottom here it says 9, and then it says colon and then web here, right? So that's how you know that is workspace 9 for me. Or otherwise they just give you a number. So for example, if I go to workspace 1, it'll just say 1 only. There's no name, right? Let's say I go back to 9. You see now it has the web. Now it disappears because there's no applications here. So automatically when you move away from a workspace, and if that workspace is empty, it's not gonna show up on the bottom here, right? So if I open an application right here, it will actually show the number 1 now that you can click on it if you want. But if there's no application, that thing will just disappear. So it's dynamic. They'll just close it off automatically if there's nothing. If you do the names up here, right, this is like optional. You can actually type in the name if you want. Then you make sure you do the names down here too for this one. And this one is just to move containers, not really that important. And this one is for configuration. So whenever you change anything in here, depending on whatever text editor you're using, you want to save it first. So you save the sucker, and then you want to reload it or restart it. Now this one doesn't actually restart your computer, it just restarts the tiling of i3b. So first thing you probably want to do is save the program, save your configurations, and then you want to do a reload. And the default reload is mod shift and C, but I like using super key, alt and C, and that's how you would just hit that hotkey and it'll reload it. And you might have to restart the i3b, okay? And it's just 1 second. It's not really that long. It's just a couple seconds, and that's it. You probably won't even see it, but it will just restart it, and you'll have your configuration updated, and that's it. Now, if you want to exit i3, then you want to hit mod shift and E, and that will give you an option of logging out and all that. So, for example, mod shift and E, and you see that up top here, do you want to exit and you say yes, exit I3, or you want to cancel, you hit the X here and it'll cancel it. So it's up to you if you want to do that. Now this resizing here, I don't really particularly like this one that much, but you know, they do have resizing mode, and basically what this one does is, you know, for different windows. So for example, what do we have here? So for example, if I want to resize this one, I can do what's that, super key and R, and at the bottom here you have this red you know, I don't know what you call it, indicator here, and that's when you're in resize mode. And you can actually use your arrow keys if you want, right? And when you're done, you hit escape, kind of like in Vim. Let's open another one here so you can see the difference. So if I want to do what's that, resizing mode, I can, you know, resize that up, down, left, right. Now it doesn't always go up, down, left, right. It's actually based on what's that, your width and height of the window that you have here. So if it's small, then it'll grow it a little differently. So it's not like in Tmux where you have, I want it to go up, so you hit up. I want it to go down, you hit down, left and right. It doesn't always work that way. It's just based on how small the application is, and it'll shrink or you know, or grow depending on the dimensions that they have in there. So it's kind of weird, but you'll get used to it, and not very accurate. Now, I wish they do it like Tmux where you have, okay, I want it to go to the left, it always goes to the left. So that's it for that, and that's how you do that. So make sure you hit escape every time you want to exit out of that. And I think that's pretty much it for the program. Oh yeah, here's some extra stuff that you can do that is not in the default configurations. And this one is to have a certain type of application always floating windows. Like right now my terminal is always in a floating state because I don't want it to toggle when I open my terminal, my drop down terminal here. So to do that, all you gotta do is add this sucker in here, and you just add in your program name, and you just say floating enable. And to find out your the name or the class name of your application, you want to use this program xprops, and I'll show you how to use that here. So for example, I do xprops, right? And now you have this little cursor on here, and you click on that window, let's say that window, and you see that now you have genumeric, and you see that it has the WM class for Windows Manager class, and the string is this. Make sure you use this one. It's always the first letter is always capitalized, so don't use this one, doesn't work. So you want to use the first one that has a capitalized letter, and everything after that is just lowercase. So that's how you figured out, you know, the string for different applications. So that's that. And right here, this one is to assign an application to open to a certain workspace. So let's say I want my comics to always open in my workspace 8, which I call manga. So to do that, let's say right now we're in workspace 9, right? And if I open what's it, M comics, it's always going to open in workspace 8, which is my manga here. And you see that I switch over to it, it's always going to be there. Even though if I let's say I close this and I go to workspace 1 and I open M comics again, it's always going to open in workspace 8 because I assign it to that. So that's how that works here. And again, to find the names of it, just use xprops here and you'll find the names. And all these other ones are optional. I probably don't recommend you use any of this yet because I haven't tested all of these out at the bottom here, right? Anything else? Oh yeah, this one, if you wanted to, you can actually bind some other hotkeys like mod N to go to the next workspace and P to go to previous. So for example, we have this one here. Let's open another one. Let's over here we do leaf pad or something, and I can do what is that, mod N to go to the next workspace and P to go to previous. So if I do mod N, I go to the next one, that exists actually. It doesn't mean that it goes in order. It just go, the next one on the bottom here. So you can see that it goes to the next one, and you can toggle between that. And if you want to go previous, you can go previous. And the other one that I use is this one, Mod D. Because sometimes I look at two different workspaces, and I want to jump between them. It's kind of like you have on your TV where you have the jump button, where you jump to the channel that you previously went to. So this is kind of like the jump button, where if I would do Mod and D, I just jump between those two that I've been to. So that's that. Up to you if you want to do that. Anything down here? Oh yeah, these are your startup applications, and wherever you want to load up by default, then you want to put the exec command. So this one's for my remapping my hotkeys. This one's for what is that? The compositing manager. This one's for wallpapers and any other programs that you want to load up. It's up to you, right? And that's how you do that here. And some of these other ones I haven't tried out, so that's it for the program in a nutshell. So let's recap here. What I like about it, it's a tiling Windows Manager. I don't like the default hotkey, so I really recommend you change that. Everything I said, and like I said, I'll post my configurations up online so you can look at it too. Other things I don't like about this is that I've seen this in other Windows tiling manager, is that you can actually use your mouse to drag it to different places and it will swap the window. This one you can't do that. You can't drag the stupid thing. And another thing I don't like about this is that I don't know if this one's gonna split vertically or horizontally. I wish there was like a little indicator say, oh, this one's gonna be split horizontally or vertically, right? Because right now I don't really know. I have to hit the button first, and then I can open another one, split it. So it's kind of annoying, but you can still use your toggle if you forget or whatever. So that's pretty much it for tiling Windows Manager i3B. It's pretty cool. I might check out some other ones, but if you like tmux, you probably like this one if you're gonna use GUI programs too. That'll be it for this one.